This is where I used to spend my summers as a kid out here.
This is his spot, the secret spot that's been rumored in baseball lore for 100 years.
I think it's the New Jersey side of the Delaware River, if I'm not mistaken.
It's like some creek or some pond somewhere in the Northeast, right?
Well, sort of. We've been sworn to secrecy about the exact location. He makes some visitors wear a blindfold. What I can say is we're on a tributary of the Delaware River down the Jersey shore, and this mud winds up being rubbed onto baseballs thrown all around the globe. First stop, this garage,
The mud capital of the world.
where thousands of gallons of mud are processed, packed, and shipped out each year, all by Jim Bintliff.
Mud guy is what I go by.
And it's no surprise the mud guy grew up a huge baseball fan.
It's like a game of chess when you watch a baseball game, and people don't realize that.
Something else you may not realize is that a new baseball in its white leather casing is slippery.
No pitcher's really like a pearl. That's what we call a brand new baseball.
It slips right out of your hand. It's like a cue ball.
For most of its existence, Major League Baseball has struggled to find a balance between giving pitchers better control of the ball without giving them an unfair advantage. In 1920, the league started using new baseballs, and pitchers were having trouble getting a good grip. That same season,
Ray Chapman was killed by a wild pitch, hit him in the temple, and he died.
so the league started looking for solutions.
They tried shoe polish, they tried tobacco juice, dirt from the infield, but everything they tried damaged the coating of the baseball.
But Lena Blackburn, a former player turned manager, had another idea.
He saw this mud and he thought, well, I'll try this. And he took it into the Philadelphia Athletics clubhouse and they found this is the stuff. So in 1938, it was being used by everybody in the American League.
Blackburn's best friend was Jim's grandfather, who turned shoveling and shipping the mud into a side gig. This photo was taken decades later. It's Jim and his dad on a shipping day circa 1981, when he says 2 5-gallon buckets would have been enough for the entire season. Today, it's become a muddy monopoly, used by all 30 teams in both the majors and minors. Hundreds of Little League, high school, and college teams, too.
This is Renee calling from the University of Nebraska.
The higher demand means Jim spends more days out here on the river.
All right.
The harvest, he calls it.
Labor of love.
So what's so special about the mud? Well, he says on this small stretch of the bank, the mineral content of the sediment is uniquely perfect for coating baseballs. And he can't help but be proud.
When I see a pitcher that's really sick, throwing the ball, making it do unimaginable things, that's like, yeah, that's our mud.
He knows it, and the players do too.
Oh yeah, this is the primo stuff right there for us.
MLB has tried several times to make changes to the ball. Every time, the players have resisted. And the league is now once again considering changes. Last year, a notice was sent to all major league clubs with specific guidelines for exactly how to treat the baseballs before each game.
They have to use a certain amount of mud. They have to rub them for so long in this time period before the use.
It's all part of the ongoing effort to make the sport more uniform. On harvest days like these, his mind can't help but drift back.
I spend a lot of time thinking about, my grandfather and Lena and the old days of baseball.
And his muddy start.
The day he called me and said, I want you to take it over completely. I was like, wow, that was surreal. Boom, that's it. That could be in the World Series.
So he washes his boots and he heads back home, the truck 500 pounds heavier.
10, 50-pound buckets, yeah.
But never a trip to the river without a stop to visit the man who started it all.
Yeah, just to remember him and thank him and say hi. Thanks for being my grandfather. Man, you would not believe what happened to this mud.
Stef Manisero, New York 1.
Steph's here with us now. So this has been used for a long time in baseball. The NFL thinks that their balls are slippery too?
So 2/3 of NFL teams now use this mud. It all started because back in the day, you know, all the fields used to be real grass, and teams would rub footballs into the grass before the game to get a little traction on it.
We got a better way to do that.
Well, now with turf, they can't do it. They don't have mud in the turf. And so it started with the Seahawks and Russell Wilson, and the Mariners said, hey, we got this mud. And so now
how many people
2/3
now,
of the
like-
NFL is using it.
And so you're one of what? How many people know where Mudman is?
I think maybe like 6 people he's
Wow.
ever taken there. He makes, like I said, some people he makes wear a blindfold. I really had to push him, but I'm very honored to have been to the spot.
It is a little bit of like a CIA operation.
Yeah, like I said, I can't really give much information about where it is other than what I said. I will stick true to my word here, but I had to, you know, work him up a little bit. We went down to his house, we spoke with him in the garage, and then he actually ended up, we spent so many hours there just talking baseball, and he could kind of see that I was a real fan, so he said, you know what, come back when it's low tide. I'll let you come to the harvest.
What's your big takeaway after going through the whole process from collecting the mud to putting it in the pails to seeing it wiped on the baseballs?
It is, he was not joking when it's a labor of love. It is hard. Those buckets are heavy. The mud to shovel is heavy. He let me, you know, get in and shovel some mud and ship it out. And I mean, I was knee deep in mud. It really is baseball's dirty side. And I just think it's so wonderful that, like, how few people know about this, how few players know about this. They know rumors about it, you know, it's always been kind of talked about. But to go to the spot and see that it's one man who this, by the way, is not his real job. He's worked at a printing press for 30 years. This he just does on the side to keep the family business alive. And he just loves baseball and loves this and likes to be a part of the game.
In the name of this story, Stef Manisero, thanks for getting your boots dirty.
You know what? I would do it again if I could.
He's been waiting hours to say that to you.
All the good, clean, fun jokes through the morning.
Well, I will say, I actually didn't wear my sneakers. The mud was so deep, I went barefoot and I got my feet dirty.
Barefoot, not like not waders.
I didn't wear good boots for this, so I just rolled up my pants and went barefoot.
How did you clean your feet?
Took a while. He actually texted me like a month later. Was like, have you got the mud out from your toenails yet?
Okay. Jamie, go to it.
We'll leave your pedicure alone and we'll get to the morning commute.